Mr. Berge.
Thank you, Chairman Stone and Chesbrough. John Berge. I'm Vice President with the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association, or PMSA, representing the non-tank or dry cargo vessel industry. Just as a little bit of brief history, we do have a long history of working with the state to ensure both the integrity of the oil spill program and to provide adequate participation and funding from the non-tank sector. We helped sponsor SB 1644 in 1998, which placed non-tank vessels under the state spill program. And we also worked with then Senator Torlakson in 2002 to ensure an equitable funding stream from non-tank vessels. We're also actively engaged with existing forums, improving spill prevention response, including the Harbor Safety Committees and the Oil Spill Technical Advisory Committee. And I'd just like to take a quick second to put in a plug for the Harbor Safety Committees. They're briefly mentioned, but I think they're somewhat the unsung heroes of the state's program. They provide broad representation of multidisciplined stakeholders. They meet monthly, and I actually believe that they provided some of the greatest advancements in environmental protection in this program. So let's mention that.
Thank you.
In terms of the financial situation, it's certainly clear from what we heard that there are several funding mechanisms that need to be addressed in the state. Although not related to non-tank vessels, as a TAC member, I believe the unfunded mandate placed on OSPR to deal with inland non-marine spills is an issue that does need quick attention. I can't provide any answers to these problems, but unless it's addressed, I'm afraid that we'll see actually a degradation of the overall spill program in the state. So I encourage you to move forward with that. In terms of the OSPAF, and the Oil Wildlife Care Network, again, thanks to Mr. Chesbrough for authoring AB 881, which our organization supported since its introduction. There's certainly a reasonable debate as to whether the fee increases provide adequate revenue in the outlying years, and that's a debate we're happy to engage in. I know PMSA, our organization, recognizes the importance of the program and will certainly work with all stakeholders to ensure that needed revenues are met. You mentioned BAP and BAT, or Achievable Protection and Technology, which are the foundation of the California program. Of course, BAP is an aspirational goal, one that's never truly met, but constantly strived for. And similarly, BAT is a constantly evolving standard. But it's also one that's very difficult to define. OSPR does track these goals on an ongoing basis. However, there is an apparent lack of formal procedures or benchmarks to provide a frame of reference. Although staff maintains familiarity with these technologies and practices, we believe that formalizing these reviews into a regularly scheduled report would help provide the discipline to ensure that OSPR is fulfilling that mandate. In fact, this was a recommendation from the Costco-Busan review, and we believe it should be implemented. We also understand that addressing or assessing and implementing new technologies requires an objective perspective that can only be achieved through the collaboration of the agencies together with subject matter experts. For every consensus advancement in technology or practice, there are often vested interests promoting pieces of equipment or practices, often with more questionable benefit. I would respectfully point out as an example to the committee that dispersants are considered a component of BAT by most experts. I'm not advocating or disparaging dispersants, but I just only use that as an example of how BAT can be very difficult to define. Regards to a couple of the other issues you sent to us, in terms of rescue tugs, I would defer to the comments made by our regulator, OSPR. Only to add that since the studies that were taken to look at those issues in 2002 and updated in 2007, we actually have more larger tugs in the state than we did then. So I would argue that, that we're even better covered at this point in time. And in terms of vessels of opportunity, I don't have a strong opinion on that, although we have to understand that really what those are methods of augmenting available trained responders in the event of a spill. Now, my understanding is that the OSROs have relationships with trained contractors that they can use in the event of a spill to provide those services. So before we go any further down that rabbit hole, I would suggest that the state needs to ask and answer the question, is there a lack of those resources in the state? And I would just leave it at that. Finally, in closing, I'd just like to point out that in our view, the Lemper-Keene Sea Strand Law is very robust and comprehensive. It provides the state broad authority to achieve BAP and BAT under existing law. And provided that the programs are adequately funded and efficiently run, there's nothing to stop us from having year after year improvements in environmental protection. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Questions? All right. Thank you very much.